Nigeria,
Mauritius,
Ireland,
Africa, East Africa,
Pakistan, from Karachi to Bombay,
Manchester Airport,
from Aden to Genoa,
Queen's Park,
in Jamaica,
Eldoret,
London to Preston first, to Bolton,
Kenya,
Dean Road, Bolton,
Uganda and Africa,
Westmoreland,
Bolton,
Bolton,
Nairobi,
from Moses Gate, England,
we passed Switzerland.
to Bolton.
The very first floor, that used to be a cotton room. Then he goes upstairs, which is a card room, right? In a blowing room, there used to be a section of blowing room for the first floor, and then second floor was a ring room, and third floor was a ring room, and fourth floor was winding room, and fifth floor was empty. There's nothing there.
and that's part my life from 1973 to 1998 in textile. Once they closed, everybody were in tears because they were family splitting up. It wasn't just like the mill closing down. It's people we've been brought up, been working with for some 18 years.
It was a happy place to be, and I don't regret working there.
That time I've been up to number 5. And you bring back that memory. Good memories. The old lift and the smells, textile smells. Some places still got it. My name is Iqbal Badat. I was born in India in 1950. Well, back in 1965, when the war is in Pakistan with India, my father had decided to move because my father had a British passport. So my father decided for our education. So he said, let's go to England. So we just all come together, all 7 of us, back in 1966.
My name is Naresh, but I'm known as Laurie. Wherever I go, it's Laurie Patel. I was born in Africa, East Africa, a little place called Eldoret, 1957. Kenya, yeah. Kenya or Kenya. Well, it depends how you pronounce it.
I was born in Jamaica in the year 1936. Lorraine Walker, job seeking. Well, in Jamaica, in those days, we used to get the newspaper. And the newspaper, it always says the mother country needs you. And the mother country was England. And they invite us over to come and help England because it was during after the war.
My name is Ghanshyam Patel. I was born in 1955 in Africa. And most of my childhood life over in Africa. In 1972, we came to UK as a refugee. When Idi Amin asked all the Asians to leave the country in 90 days.
My name is Samati bin Desai, MBA, but people know me as Sue Desai. I was born in Nairobi in 1939, Kenya. I came to Bolton in 1964, 9th of February, to get married to Mr. Bahadur Si Desai. When I came to this country, to Bolton, I found it was a winter, very, very cold days, and the days are very short, and I thought, what I'm doing here, I'm come to the wrong place. But then eventually I had no choice. I have to get used to this weather, custom and everything.
It was smoggy. All the mills had chimneys. All the houses coal fires. So you used to walk out, and all you see in winter, you couldn't. There was a lot of fog about, and lots of and the houses weren't properly heated. The South Asian houses were mostly run-down terrace houses, which we could afford to rent or buy at that particular time.
I started working at the age of 16 in textile. I remember that that time was a lot of textile in Bolton. And my first job was in W.F. Punshaw, which is near Blackburn Road. Well, at that time, £5.50 a week is a lot of money. And then gradually I moved from there to Tootle, learning weaving, and worked in Tootle for a few years. Then I moved back to Bradford New Mill in night shift. And because of I was a qualified weaver, wages were good. And I worked in Bradford New Mill for 4 or 5 years. Then I applied for uniform mechanic. They didn't give me, and I had a dispute with the management. So I left the job and I came to work in Swan Lane. Well, luckily I've been very lucky there because this blowing machinery is from Germany. The German fitter was there, and they are very strict to show anything what they're doing. So we probably remember back in 1976, there was very, very hot summer for 6 continuous weeks. And this German says, me sweat. I said, okay, I'll get you a drink. So I went to a shop, got him a ice cold drink, and we become a friend. Then he starts showing me everything, little by little. But that time it was costing about £75 an hour for a German fitter to come. So I've learned about that. And my manager, he started interesting in me, and he started giving me all the, support. And what old people in the mill, like supervisor, assistant supervisor, mechanic, and he says, what the bloody hell you got, we not got, why he's doing this? They were just not with me all the time. They're not showing me, but they're always finding a fault, So I become in charge of that room, right? And nobody else have to say anything. I do whatever I wanted to. And whenever they needed me, in the middle of the night, anytime they ring me, and I go back and repair it, So this is how I become. Then he put me in night shift as an assistant supervisor in a card room, right? And from there, slowly but surely, I become supervisor. Then he gave me in charge of ring room, winding room, practically all the process, everything in that mill, Swanland mill. And then I become a night shift, you would say, a night shift production manager, and this is our finish.
It was called, what's it called now? Holsworth Brothers. It was good because it was all Asian people. Doing spinning and duffing, and labourers, they didn't want no labourers because the English lads were labourers. And there were some Asian people learning about textiles in the college at the time. But I wasn't bright enough. But I went working there for a couple of months. Then I left. Yeah, I wanted to do engineering a lot, but mechanical side. But nobody would have me because I couldn't fill no forms up. I couldn't read and write much. Neither can I do now. And I couldn't get a job as a mechanic, so I picked it all up myself. I've always liked cars. I mean, I don't drive now, but I've still got about 20 cars now. They're all parked up.
Oh, it was easy to get jobs in Bolton in those days. And my sister-in-law recommended that I go to Burton's because they used to employ a lot of people. So I went there and I got a job. It was good. Everything was happy. And they made me feel comfortable. And I had a good job. At first, I started working in overcoats. Then they moved me to coats. Then to trousers and assembly. So I worked in all those departments. It was good, very, very good. To be honest with you, it's the best place I ever worked. They look after the workers very well. And the other thing again that I admire is that in July, I think, one day in July during the holiday season, they put some coaches on and take us all to Leeds with the children. And they have a picnic with the children. And they do races and all sorts and get little prizes coming home, and they're very happy. Yeah, I enjoy that. That was very good for the kids.
When I first started the mill work, it was very noisy. Coming from Africa, from a school, I found the atmosphere very loud with the noise, with the machines going around, and not just one machine. There could be 20 machines in each room. But I got used to it. When I came from Africa, I lost all my friends. Coming to Bolton, I had to make my new friends. And mill was the place I could start meeting people from different backgrounds and become close, and then exchanging where I come from. People thought Africa, they never think, when at that point in time, when you mention Africa, they thought you were just wild animals and jungle. And then you try talking to them and then saying, how come my color is different? And being an South Asian, just wondered why. It's just trying to educate people.
My husband was working in textile. He changed quite a few jobs, like from spinning, winding, weaving, and then eventually he done some part-time study, and he started his accountant thingy, and then we bought a shop, and we used to work as our own business. But the life was very, very difficult at that time.
Our friend Enoch Powell, I think he was the main person to stir up everything. I mean, well, you remember one time they used to hate smell of curries, right? If you buy the house here and then next door neighbor was English family or somebody, they leave the family and they go away.
A day-to-day life was hard, but the thing is that people were more friendly. I have not come across my neighbors as a prejudice, but a lot of my colleagues who couldn't speak the language, they suffer a lot of racist things from the neighbors and things like that. But I was one of the very, very lucky one. And I had a lady called Mrs. Quinn. And when I was expecting my first child, my husband used to go on nights and used to say, don't worry, I will go and sleep with your wife, and if she goes in the labor, we will get the ambulance and send to hospital. And that's what happened. My husband was on nights, and Mrs. Quinn has to call the ambulance and send me to the hospital. And that time, without phone, we didn't even know which hospital I went. It was no telephone that time. It was very, very hard. So he didn't knew till he came home that I am in the labor and I'm going to hospital.
I took a deep interest in developing the things in the mill itself. Even though it wasn't my job, I took an interest to how I could make the job easier for the operatives who were working under me. And they all appreciated what I was doing for them. They made the job, and instead of running around, they could actually do it easier. And with the management's help, and they supported me, and I made the life easier. In the beginning, when I became a supervisor, and I was only 22 years old, and then didn't expect a young person to be in charge of them, and most of the people were maybe into 60s, 50 and over in textiles. First of all, on the day shift, where I was supervisor, there was only one South Asian lady in the department, and most of them were the local population in the country. Management introduced me that he is going to be your supervisor. The faces dropped. I could see the reaction, but as I was very cooperative with them, tried to win the trust to start off with before enforcing me to do something, and gradually they knew that I were on their side, trying to help them make their life easier. Not as long I had to be in the middle, please the management and please the worker to keep a happy medium. And the management were quite happy with what I was doing, because they found that keeping a happy medium was the best thing to move forward. I was lucky because I've learned the language back in Africa were English, So my English was perfect. So that made communication-wise with the operatives in the day shift a lot easier for me.
We had a club called the West Indian Association. There was quite a few members. It was happy, and I did feel at home when I came to Bolton. Well, every weekend they had dance, music, food, and most of the West Indians, that's what they used to meet to socialize. Those that don't go to churches, that's where they used to meet Friday night and Saturday night. And the West Indian has a sports club as well, because they play cricket, football, and what the other tennis is called, Red? Netball. Yeah. Well, it's like a club, you know. What do you do when you go to a club? That's what it was like. Associate with each other, talk to each other, have their drinks, have their dance, and food. I used to cook the food. Rice and peas, chicken, curry goat, vegetable, plantain. They all would sell it. They have a good meal and they have a good drink and a good dance and go home. Any kind of dance, but reggae was the main thing.
Yeah, Jimmy used to work with me. We were working in a sizing room in total. Before I become a weaver, I was working in a sizing room as a labor. And he became a friend with me. And then he started talking to me a little bit, and we had up and down and all that sort of thing. So one day he says, come on, they used to call me Ike, not Iqbal, Ike. Come on, Ike, I'm going Nevada. You want to come? And to me, Nevada, what's Nevada? You know, as being a Muslim boy, not drinking anything like that. So he says, no, come on, we'll go. So I remember that he took me there and he put a skating on my, and I couldn't skate, you know. He says, no, you try. So we become friends. He teach me quite a lot of wording and all that sort of thing. Slowly, I picked it up, and today where I am.
That's the time when I was a bad boy. Not bad boy, but fighting for the rights. When I was working in the mill here, we got the mill out on strike. We got the mill shut down for 25 weeks. It's never been done in Bolton. Therefore, I wouldn't get a job nowhere. Nobody would take me on. I was a risky fellow. We used to have our toast and tea in the lavatory. We couldn't go in the dining room. It was only English people in the dining room. So we had to go in the lavatories and have a cup of chai in there for our break. So that wasn't allowed. We didn't have a phone. So we went on strike. And the older people who are behind us and the younger ones who were behind us, they were working there, but they were on night shifts. And they were working 14 hours a day. 14 hours a night, not a day. We were only mainly 3, 4, 5 of us, but the rest people used to join us. The other people said, no, shouldn't join them because they're gonna get in trouble fighting with the English people, shouldn't go around with them people. That's when we had the bad name with the Asian community. We were the troublemakers. When they found out we were fighting for the rights for the Asian community in the mills and the unions, we used to go and march outside union places for the rights. And that's how people found out that we wasn't doing nothing wrong.
You have breaks. You break with each other. You go in the canteen. They have a lovely canteen, supply food, breakfast in the morning, dinner. And 3 o'clock, we have another break. Oh, yes. Well, you have people from all over the world. Because I have African friend was there, Indian friend was there, Irish friend was there, English, of course. And we all get on. We all get on and did what we had to do and get our little money and rush home to the children. Yeah, it was fun.
I was living at Gilbert Street, off Dean Road, and I had a music system there which I bought for £2.50, which you put the records on, and that's when I listened to Bob Marley first. And then I went into different music, like funk music, and I liked James Brown and things like that. So when I started going down with the Jamaican people, it was mainly all funk and jazz. And that's how I joined the band. There was a lad called Jelly, and there was a lad next door to him called Tony Henry. And he could play guitar as well. So he joined in. Jelly couldn't play, but we got ourselves a bass guitar. Then we got ourselves a Gibson guitar, and we started learning on it. Couldn't play no rhythm, but just kept on just following each other. Well, eventually there was me, Jingo, Carl, Ian, and Graham, Stephen, and 7 of us. The rest, they were all gone. Funk Junction, yeah. When we went to Blighty's, isn't it? When we won the competition. Well, we thought it's just a gig, isn't it? Something to do. So when our name come up, that we've won the competition, we were dead chuffed because we kept on getting mentioned on radio as well.
I was in the shop, and when we gave up our shop in 1984 December, and I said to my husband, what I'm going to do now? But in between, I've been to the college and I did all these small courses, a lot of like child care and health and safety, hygiene, others, some kind. I've got that many certificates. I've done all those courses. So I went for an interview at the maternity unit. My interview was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so there were about 85 applicants. So I went about 2 o'clock. My husband said, let's go and sit there in the car and see who's coming and going. And we saw all these, modern girls come in and out, in and out, in and out. My husband said, let's go home. Forget. I said, I'm not going to forget it. I am going to go for my interview, whether I pass it or not. So we went for interview. I was there nearly 6 o'clock. He was wondering whether I've gone from other door or what we are doing. So he came looking for me about 6 o'clock, and they said, we're still interviewing your wife. So they were interviewing me from English to Gujarati, Gujarati to English, from Hindi to Gujarati, Gujarati English to Hindi, and then Swahili. I spoke good Swahili, so they were interviewing me with the Swahili and all these languages. So I came out and I said to my husband, I think I've got the job. Wait for the letter we'll receive. Anyway, I got that job and he couldn't believe it. He said, oh, this modern. I said, no, they need your brain. You don't look at all your appearance, how you look and what you do. And I worked there 26 years on the maternity. I had the MBE, I had the Parliamentary Award in breastfeeding. I had the Top Fillingham Award. I had the Woman of the Year Award. I had a Diversity Award. I've got that many awards, I can't even remember.
The honor of the chairperson of the male, they were called Sir Bulmer. He came in for a Christmas party, and I didn't know that something surprise for me. And they had my results from the technical college, and they announced that Mr. Ghanshyam Patel would like to come in front of, and they gave me a £30 token book voucher. I wouldn't expect anything, and then being in front of everybody in the mill, that was my second year in the mill. And just imagine earlier on, and that stuck to my mind, the mill owner himself appreciating and giving me a voucher. And then we used to have a Christmas dinner. So the Christmas dinner, everybody were there. So in the canteen, and the canteen were full, and being asked to come in front of a big crowd, that's something you remember.
I have no clue where it came from still. There was a phone call came. In the afternoon, it was June, July something. And this gentleman saying, I'm speaking from Bolton Evening News. Mr. Desai, you awarded the evening MBE. I say, what is MBE? I had no clue that time. And they say, you awarded by Queen. She's given you award. So would you stay here? It will take us about an hour to come and interview you. And I say, no, it's Friday. I'm going home. My husband will be here. But then in the evening, my son-in-law who was here, he saw it on the news. So I've been awarded the MBE from the Queen. So he's ringing me. He said, have you got the MBE? I said, I don't know what the hell is the MBE and all this. He said, you've been on the news. And I couldn't believe it. I went to Buckingham Palace with my husband, 2 granddaughters. And then some relatives were there. They're waiting outside. And it was an amazing experience. And she was asking me, how did I get the job? And I said, this job been given by your daughter, Princess Anne? She said, how? Because I said they launched from Save the Children Fund for this job for a link worker's job for maternity unit, and I applied for it in this hour, and she was really shocked. She said, oh, and then she said, I love your sari, it's beautiful. I went in a sari.
We'd go either Wigan Casino or Blighty's, Tongmo Road, and Wigan Casino, we used to go there because when Cool and the Gang, not Cool and the Gang. Lionel Richard, when he was in a band, when he come there, that's when all our band, we used to go there. Wigan Casino was known as, what's it called, rock and roll dance, fast dancing. The English lads, they used to really, really dance, and Jamaican people. Yeah, they just dance very fast. I forgot what they call now. Northern Soul, that's the one. And it used to be all-nighter. And we used to go there. Even after the band finished, me and Jingo used to always go there. You walk in, I mean, because we've been on that stage as well. And knowing that the bar's right in the front, as you go in from that end to that end, you walk in, the hall is there, so you could dance. The stage is in the front. Your changing rooms are at the back, this side, ladies, gents. And it was you get that goose pimples, you kind of sweat. I mean, I'm talking about it now, I can feel it.
That time I've been up to number 5. And you bring back the memory. Good memories. The old lift and the smells, textile smells.
Once they closed, everybody were in tears because they were family splitting up. It wasn't just like the mill closing down.
We were all made redundant because Burton's didn't keep up with the time, and they got left behind. And they had no other choice but to close it down. So that's what they did. It was like a party. Everybody was happy and sad. We were sad to know that we were going, but there were happiness in it as well. Well, seeing that it was the last day, the management didn't bother what we do. We just leave us to enjoy ourselves. Yeah. As I said, it was a happy place to be, and I don't regret working there.